Running a small business isn't easy, and after the past year, you may feel like there's no light at the end of the tunnel. Don't worry, help is on its way at the Small Business Expo. Our live in-person events are back, and we are giving small businesses a place to turn for education, advice, and inspiration. Safely network with other small business owners, learn from key industry leaders, and find products and services that can help grow your business. Join the small business movement at thesmallbusinessexpo.com.
I made a business out of my passion. I mean, who doesn't love obsessing over network security?
All our techs are pros. They know exactly which parking lots have the strongest signal.
I just don't have the bandwidth for more business. Seriously, I don't have the bandwidth.
Glitchy video calls with regional offices? Yeah, that's my thing.
With AT&T Business, you do the things you love. Our people and network will help do the things you don't. Let's take care of business. AT&T.
Welcome to Small Business University Online, powered by Small Business Expo, America's biggest business trade show and conference. We want to extend a very special thank you to AT&T Business for supporting small business and being our presenting sponsor. Please be sure to check out our complete webinar schedule and all on-demand recordings from previous webinars on smallbusinessuniversity.online. All of our webinars are free and full of incredible information to help you grow your business. This webinar is being recorded and will be made available within 24 hours on smallbusinessuniversity.online. At this time, we are turning the public chat feature off for the presentation. We will reopen the public chat window closer to the end so that you can post your questions for our presenter to answer during the open Q&A portion. And now, I'm very excited to introduce today's webinar. Please take it away.
All right, everybody. I am Michael Johnson, the CEO of Resolve. Super excited to be with you all today, talking about why your website isn't ranking on Google and how to fix it. A little background on myself and my company. So Resolve is a full-service digital marketing agency. We do everything from search engine optimization to pay-per-click advertising to design to social media. So help clients, anything you need to run a successful digital marketing campaign, really. My background is I've spent the last 10 years developing SEO strategies for hundreds of brands, several of which are Fortune 500 companies. But really for me, seeing small business, small, medium-sized businesses win in organic search and on Google is just my favorite thing in the world when you can compete and go toe-to-toe with the big dogs. So today, I want to share some of the basic insights that I have when it comes to optimizing a website, setting up for success. A lot of brands just struggle on taking that first step into search engine optimization and want to kind of give you a roadmap to do that today. So first thing to talk about here is the concept that SEO is hard, but it's not complex. A lot of SEO agencies, a lot of digital marketing agencies, which have you believe that it's all black magic and smoke and mirrors and that you can't figure it out. It's not true. It's going to take you a lot of time and a lot of effort, but the principles behind it are pretty straightforward. So really, success on Google boils down to 5 core principles. The first is technical SEO. This basically means, is your website easy for Google to find, to crawl it, and to add it to its index? And is it free of errors that would cause problems for users? The second thing is on-page SEO. So this means, are the core components of your page that can help Google figure out what your page is about in place? And are those optimized for keywords that people are actually searching for? Next is content. Content is the biggest part of showing Google that you know what you're talking about, that you're an expert in your field. And we'll talk quite a bit about content during this presentation. Next is backlinks. That's how Google figures out how trustworthy and authoritative you are. And then last are the local factors. So if you're a business trying to, brick and mortar, or trying to rank for local terms like, auto shop in Phoenix, something like that, right? You'd want to be able to do well in that area. So we'll talk about that. The first thing I want to talk about, though, is what is Google's purpose? A lot of SEOs historically have been focused on, how do I cheat the system? How do I trick Google into ranking? How do I bend Google to my will? That's not a good way to go about it. It's much better to understand what Google is looking for, what their goal is, and then trying to bring that into your strategy and to bend your will to what they want to do. So Google's purpose, summarized by themselves, is to organize the world's information, make it universally accessible and useful. There's few key words in this phrase I want to highlight because we're talking about them. First is information. A lot of Google is about being informational and providing people with what they need to accomplish their tasks day to day. Next is accessible, and then last is useful. So we'll talk about how each of these kind of interweave into these different areas of SEO that I mentioned in the introduction. Summarized though, this means that Google wants to provide reliable, trustworthy information from websites that provide a good user experience. If you see this phrase here and your website doesn't align with this, if it's not reliable, if it's not providing trustworthy information, if it's not good for users, then you got to make some changes. So how does Google work? The way that Google works is it has bots, which are called spiders. And what these do is they crawl the web, finding different web pages, and they go through those pages and index all the content on them and put it into their library. The way they navigate is through links. So when Google crawls to a page and they see a link, they'll follow that link to another page and to another page. Sometimes the links point them to another website. So these spiders are constantly crawling the web. They have trillions of websites in their index. That's why if you want to search for how to fix an air filter, how to change an air filter on a car, anything to our unicorns reel, right? Anything, Google probably has a page for it in their index because of how vast that library of pages is. And that leads me to the next point. And this is that Google is a library, not a mall. So many people think that Google's this place that people go to buy things, and they only optimize and build their websites around that goal. Is how I get someone to buy something from my website. We're going to talk later in the content section about why this is a problem. But Google's more than that. And as Google mentioned in their purpose, they are here to gather the world's information. So what you need to make sure that you're doing if you want to be successful in SEO is that you are properly answering the informational intent that Google has if you also want to be able to capture those transactional intent keywords. So we're going to go through this and talk about how you can do that with your SEO strategy. So let's jump into the first pillar of SEO, which is technical SEO. Simply put, technical SEO means making your website a good experience for Google's algorithm and a good experience for users. Some of the big things to check that may be holding you back when it comes to your technical SEO is first, page load speeds. So if you want to see how your website's doing and how it's loading for Google, you can Google the phrase page speed insights, and that will, the first result should be Google's tool, and you can plug your website into it and it'll tell you how quickly your site loads. If you're in the red, you've got a lot of work to do. If you're in the yellow, you're doing all right. If you're in the green, then fantastic, you're in great shape. Don't worry about it. Some of the things that really do affect page load speeds that you want to keep an eye out for are things like JavaScript. So if you have a lot of extra code floating around on the page that's not necessary, that makes a really clunky experience for Google's bot to crawl your page. If you make it hard for Google to crawl your page, it's not going to like your page. So you'll want to keep an eye out for that. And if you need to get help from a developer or an SEO, they can help you to clean up some of that JavaScript. Next is big image files. So if you've got really big images or image formats that aren't optimal, that can slow down your load speeds as well. So you want to take a look at the kinds of images that you're putting on your site. That's one of the ones I see all the time when I'm auditing people's websites. And then last is too many ads. If you're running ads on your website and there's a ton of them, number one, that's really spammy for users. But number two, it does affect your page speed. So keep that in mind. A couple other things to think about is broken pages and broken links. If you've got 404 pages on your website that aren't loading or aren't working, that's going to send a bad message to Google. They don't want to send somebody to a site with broken pages. The same thing with broken links. If you have links that are pointing to pages that are broken, Google doesn't want to do that. And like I mentioned before, the way that Google navigates the web is through those links. So if it follows that link on your site and sees that it goes to a broken page, that'll probably make them not want to rank you as high. Then last is mobile friendly. Your website really needs to be mobile friendly. Over 60% of searches now, and it's probably higher. That was a stat from about 2 or 3 years ago. It's probably over 70% now of searches are happening on mobile devices, not on desktops. So if your website doesn't perform well on mobile, then Google's not going to want to return it because it knows that most searches are coming from mobile devices. So the first thing you're going to want to do now, before we step into on-page optimization and creating content, is you need to figure out what keywords are you going to rank for and why would you want to rank for them. Some of the questions you're going to want to ask as you start your journey for doing keyword research is, who is searching for your product or service? How are they searching for it? So what words are they using to search for you? How many people are searching for it? So what is the search volume behind these keywords, and why are they searching for it? What is the intent behind the keyword they're typing in? Summarize, keyword research is the process of figuring out what keywords you should optimize your website for. So the first thing I recommend anybody to do if you're starting your journey in keyword research, if you don't know where to go, what to optimize for, is look at who's already ranking on page 1. If you want to know how to be successful, look at those who are already successful and take some of their best practices and apply it to your strategy. So think of your top competitors and see what keywords they are targeting. If you want to kind of start to get a little bit of foothold, again, think of those competitors, look at their websites, and I'll show you some of the ways to identify what the core things they're optimizing are for. Next, think of queries that you think someone might search to find a company like yours and see what companies are ranking. So let's say you are a plumber in Boise, and you might Google Boise plumbers or Boise plumbing companies, and you can start to see what brands are ranking well and start to click on those sites and see what they're doing well. So competitor research is a great place to get started with keyword research. All right. I'm going to now provide a hypothetical scenario. We're going to go a little rogue here. I'm going to take you to a screen share and show you this quick example. So let's say I am this company, Stronghold Remodeling, and I recently lost a bid to North Star Kitchen and Bath. So what I'll probably want to start by doing here is I'm saying, okay, so they're a competitor, obviously. I just lost a bid to them. Let's see what they're doing well. And let's see what cues I can take from this other business. The first thing that I'll probably start to do is let's look at the words on the page to see what they're optimizing for. Some of the core components, and we'll talk about this in the next slide for on-page optimization, are things called title tags and header tags. To find the title tag, you can just hover over the tab of a website right here, and you'll see this one says Expert Kitchen Remodels in Boise. Then we look at these other pages. The header tags are often kind of the big text on a page is the easiest way to describe it. So you'll see over a decade of high quality, affordable bath and kitchen remodel experience brought to Boise and the Treasure Valley area. Let's keep scrolling. We see Boise kitchen remodel contractors. Another big one here, full-scale kitchen remodels in the Boise area. So we're seeing a pattern here that these guys are using to potentially rank really well on Google, is they are consistently mentioning what they do and where they are located, and then they're including it in these core areas of their site in their title tag and H1 tag. So right away, if I'm Stronghold Remodeling, I'm starting to get some clues into some of the things that I can be doing better. If we look at what Stronghold has right now, they have just Stronghold Remodeling LLC. So all they're telling Google right now with this page on their title tag is just, this is our company's name. So unless somebody's looking for you by name, they probably won't be able to find you. And then all they have from a text perspective is just one paragraph about who they are. So you can start to see why Google might want to rank this type of a website better for those kinds of keywords more than this site, just on how the pages are built and the information that they're including on them. All right. So the next thing you're going to want to do is to figure out the search volume behind the keywords that you want to target. If I were Stronghold Remodeling, I probably took some notes there and I saw, okay, Boise kitchen remodel, Boise bathroom remodel, Boise remodel contractor. Those are maybe some keywords I should type in. One great tool that you can use is Google Keyword Planner. This actually comes for free as part of a Google Ads Manager account. So totally free tool that you can use to do a little bit of keyword research for yourself. What I find here is if I do Boise kitchen remodel, that gets 390 searches per month. Boise bathroom remodel also gets 390 searches per month. And then all these variations. So Google will also say, hey, if you like this keyword, you might also be interested in these. So, I mean, there's well over 500 searches per month just from this handful of keywords that you could be optimizing for and targeting. One thing that's also helpful is that it tells you what the competition level is. So maybe Stronghold can't compete for a high competition keyword like Boise kitchen remodel, But shower remodel Boise is low competition. Maybe if they create a specific page on their website about shower remodels, they can start to rank for that keyword as then they work to build up their SEO to a point where they can compete on higher volume keywords. All right. The next section, or the next thing here is SEMrush, which is an amazing tool that you can use for keyword research. This one is a paid tool, so it's not free like the keyword planner from Google, but it provides some really amazing features. They have a 7-day free trial as well, so if you want to try it out, definitely worth testing out for a week or so. What this can do that Keyword Planner doesn't is that you can see where your competitors are actually ranking for. So I typed in the website, it shows me all the keywords they're ranking for, what position they're ranking in, and the estimated search traffic that they're getting by ranking in that position. So if you want to know kind of what the opportunity is and the possibilities are for ranking for a certain keyword, you can use SEMrush to help you figure that out. Really valuable tool. It also tells you what pages they're using to rank for that keyword. And this is going to be important when we talk about intent here in a minute. So for the basics for on-page optimization, as I mentioned before, you're going to want to look at a few core elements of your page. The first is your title tag. So look at the title tag of each page and make sure that it accurately represents what that page is about. Make sure that it mentions the main service that you offer, where you offer it, and sometimes it's good to put your brand name in there as well, so that when people are seeing it in the search results, they know who you are. Next is header tags. So those are basically the headers for each section of a page. So you're going to include keywords that you want to optimize for within those header tags. And then underneath each header, you're going to have text. You're going to write paragraphs of information there, and you can include some keyword optimization in there as well. One thing to keep in mind is to don't over optimize or keyword stuff. So if you really wanted to rank for Boise kitchen remodel, but you put that word on your page 100 times, eventually Google will realize this isn't natural, this is spammy, and then that'll lower the quality score they have for your page. So keep that in mind as well, that you want to be optimal, but not over the top or spammy. So what I would do if I were Stronghold Remodeling, this is the exact steps I would take for that page. I would change my title tag from just being my brand name to then instead saying Boise Kitchen Remodel or Boise Kitchen Remodel Company. Then I would include my brand name. I'd probably even drop the LLC, to be honest with you, just Stronghold Remodeling. Their header tag, so that paragraph that I showed you is actually a header tag, which is super suboptimal to have something that long and unwieldy as any kind of tag on your site. So I would shorten that up and I'd get multiple header tags. So maybe you do a section of your homepage about being a kitchen remodel contractor, a section about your Boise bathroom remodels. Those are better header tags you can use to actually optimize for keywords that people are searching for. Then you'd write paragraphs underneath each of those headers to describe the service that you mentioned. The other thing I want to talk about when it comes to on-page optimization is intent. So you'll see that Google ranks certain types of pages for certain kinds of results. So if you wanted to rank for kitchen remodel, you'll probably want to use your homepage to target that keyword and optimize your homepage for that. But let's say you're a pest control company and you're trying to push your wasp control service. What you'll see here is that these were all home pages. You'll see there's extra text here. This is representing that these are service pages or deeper pages on the site. So if you wanted to rank for wasp control and you're trying to use your home page, you probably won't rank for it. You need to create an additional service page on your website all about wasp control. So the best way to figure out intent is just Google the keyword that you want to rank for and then see what kinds of pages are ranking. For this one, it was easy to see home pages. For this one, it was easy to see service pages. And then that can tell you what kind of page you'd want to optimize for the keyword you're targeting. All right, the next section is about content, and I love content. I've seen so many great results for brands by implementing really good content strategies. Bill Gates, way back in the 90s, had the famous quote, "Content is king." And he said, content is where I expect much of the real money to be made on the internet. And hasn't that come to fruition, right? You look at YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, all these social media platforms where people are making millions of dollars in some cases, is from their content. And when it comes to Google itself, a lot of it comes down to your content. Content is the #1 way to show Google, and more importantly, your audience, that you know what you're talking about and that you're an expert in your field. You'll struggle to rank your website if your content is thin, poorly written, or doesn't provide value to your audience. Like I showed you on those initial examples there between Stronghold and North Star, that first brand, the Stronghold, they only had one paragraph on the entire homepage. The other brand had a ton of informational content there. So it's easy to see why Google made that judgment there. Now, the one thing I want to talk about when it comes to a content strategy is that it needs to address your entire buyer's journey. If you're only addressing the purchase intent for users, you are only going to be marketing to a very small sliver of the possible audience you could be attracting to your site. You need to think about how you can answer questions at each step of the way for your audience and create content that does that. A blog is a really good way to do that. If you create a blog, you can write blog posts about questions your audience, that your clients or customers are asking, and use those blog posts to answer those. And the reason why this works really well is I recently had an experience with it. I had my blinker on my car. One time I went to turn and my blinker just went really fast. And I was like, hey, something's wrong here. So in Google, I just really quickly Googled, my car blinker is blinking fast. And what came up first? Not product pages for new light bulbs for cars. No, it was an article directly from Napa Online that says, why does my car turn signal blink fast? So they answered that question for me. And when it comes time to then buy a new bulb for my car, guess who I'm already introduced to? Guess who's already educating me and nurturing me towards that purchase decision? It's Napa Online. They got to me first because they answered questions higher up the funnel. So when it comes to your content strategy, make sure that you are answering questions that your audience has that relate to the services that you offer. That will help you to be able to rank for a lot more queries if you're answering those questions directly for people. The other thing to keep in mind is that when it comes to your content is to include key phrases within your content. So especially on like home pages or service pages, make sure that you're including key phrases about your services, about the location that you're in, the audience that you're targeting, the issues that you can solve. This is a good example. This is a plumber here in Boise, where I'm based out of. I Googled Boise plumber. They came up on page one. And if you look at what they're doing here, they include their brand name, so Boise Valley Plumbing. Their audience is homeowners in Boise, Idaho, so they include that there. They are a local plumbing company, Treasure Valley Plumbing Company, Boise Plumbers. They're using a lot of different ways here to tell Google within the text of their page who they are, what they do, who they're targeting. So then when I go to Google Boise Plumbers, Google can read the text of this page and say, oh, these guys talk about this all the time. This is exactly what they do. Let me return this as a result. So once you've gotten good technical SEO, good on-page SEO, your content is optimized, you've got informational stuff there that's providing that value to users. The deciding factor from there on what Google's going to rank is going to be backlinks. When Google sees links from other websites pointing to yours, they view those as votes of trust and authority, and it increases your authority so that you can rank better. Now, the trouble with all this is that earning links is really hard. It is the one part of SEO that involves a third party. You can't just, link to yourself. That wouldn't mean anything. So you have to get another person to cooperate with you and want to link to you. So how do you do it? First of all, what you need is informational, audience-focused content. On the web, content is a currency. If you have content that's valuable, that helps people, you can then show that content to them and say, hey, do you want to link to this so that your users can take advantage of it? So the first thing that you're going to need is that informational, audience-focused content that provides value and that solves problems. Then you're going to need to find the websites and the audiences that would benefit from that content. Then the last thing that you're going to need is a lot of time to outreach to those sites. I've seen it take a few hours per backlink to be able to earn a backlink. So you're going to need to be able to take some time to do some outreach. So how it works, here's an example that my company that we actually use for a client to help them earn some great backlinks for their website. The first thing that we noticed was that so it's an aquarium brand, and part of their brand services they offer as an aquarium is homeschool field trips. So parents who teach their kids at home, they can come together and do a field trip in a larger group of homeschool students. So knowing that they serviced homeschool students, I was able to find hundreds of pages that were dedicated to providing resources for parents of homeschool students. I also found hundreds of pages dedicated to STEM education. So what this told me was that if I create a guide for homeschooling and STEM, I can probably get some backlinks for this client. So I went ahead and did that, and we were able to get 15 links for our client. by outreaching to these different websites that supported parents that were homeschooling their kids. Interestingly enough, as we created blog content and as we earned backlinks, we were able to take a blog that historically drove little to no traffic, and over the course of a few months, we're able to turn that into 1,000 visitors per month. They're actually able to surpass that in July. They're on track to beat that. So it just goes to show this stuff works when you take the time to create great content and you take the time to outreach and build links. You can really grow your audience for your website. A couple other ways to earn backlinks. You can be involved in your community. If you are going out, serving your community, doing charity, getting some press, that's a great way to get backlinks. This is an example of a company here in Boise called Greater Good Charities. They partnered with the Humane Society to rescue 40 at-risk dogs. That generated some buzz, and they got a link from a website called Totally Boise, who mentioned their efforts and gave them a backlink as part of the article. Another way you can get links is just by building partnerships and sponsoring local events, causes, and groups. So the local minor league baseball team, they give links to all their sponsors. The local music festival, they give links to their sponsors. So building relationships and partnerships with people, sponsoring events, those are great ways to get some backlinks on websites. The next section here is about local SEO. So if you're trying to rank for, X near me, pet store near me, whatever that might be, or Italian food in Boise, and you have a brick and mortar location, your Google business profile is going to be a big part of being able to do that. The map pack results are actually a lot of the time the top result that appears for these local queries. So it's one of the best ways to get your brand to show up on the top page or top part of Google result pages. So first thing you want to make sure you're doing is, number one, make sure you have a Google business profile. If you don't, then go create one or claim the one that exists. You want to make sure that you have the correct category of your business, right? If you're not getting the correct category, then Google's not going to know what to have you show up for. Within your Google business profile, include detailed descriptions of what you do, what your business is, include those keywords that you found in your keyword research earlier as part of that. Google business profiles will often as well let you include like services. They'll have like a menu of services you can build in there. Take advantage of that, have that in there. That's a great way to show people what you do. Try to get as many reviews as possible. You'll see here, all these top results have hundreds of reviews and they have good reviews. So you really want to try to get positive reviews. A way to do this is every time you work with a client or complete a project for a customer, is send them a follow-up email. And in that email, say, hey, if you enjoyed the work that we did, here's a link to our Google My Business profile. Would you mind leaving a review for us? And you can incentivize them. I had a landscaper do a project for me recently. They followed exactly that pattern. I think they offered me like a $10 Starbucks gift card for the review, and was happy to do it. And I got a nice little gift card. They got a great review. Worked out for everybody. Include images and videos. One of the things that will really help your conversion when people come to your Google business profile is showing them examples of your work. I know if I ever Google a restaurant, I need to be able to see pictures of their food. I need to be able to see a picture of their menu to want to click on them and to explore that further. Include your hours. Make sure those are accurate. You don't want people calling you or showing up to your business when you're not open. That would be a bad experience. And then also include a link to your website so that people can then go to your website to learn more information. You'll want to just fill out as much information as possible on your Google business profile, and then use keywords when you can. Make those as informational as possible. The other part of local SEO that you want to pay attention to is getting yourself on business listing sites or business directory sites. So the first thing you'll want to do is make sure that you have your name, address, phone number on your website. Generally, people will put it in like the footer under like the contact us section. That's a great way to do it. Make sure that that is consistent with what you have on your Google business profile, that those are consistent. And then from there, you'll want to get your business listed on different business directories and business listing sites and have that address be consistent with what's in your business Google business profile, as well as with what's on your website. If you are missing, if it's inconsistent, then it's going to kind of wig Google out a little bit. And they may not feel confident returning you as a result in those map packs. There are some services that can take care of this for you. So you can use services like Bright Local, Moz Local, Yext. Those are all brands that will help you with getting those listings sent out. They'll do it for you automatically. You just put your name, address, phone number, and then they'll submit it for you. So really convenient way to get that taken care of. So does all of this actually work? I kind of spilled the beans earlier and showed you, like, yeah, it does. But yeah, you take all this time, you do your technical SEO, you get your on-page SEO sorted. You've got your content now sorted out. You got some backlinks. That takes hours of work. Does it pay off? Absolutely. You can increase your business. I've seen businesses grow by hundreds, thousands of visitors every month through SEO. I've got a really strong belief in it, and it definitely works. So part of what I love to do is with these presentations is to answer questions, to workshop websites. So I would love now to help you and answer any questions that you have about search engine optimization, or if you want to include your website in the chat here, I'd be happy to workshop it live, give you some feedback. Also, after the webinar, we'll be following up with some of you folks, and you can also set up a private one-on-one session with me as well. But let's go ahead and jump into it here. I'm happy to answer any questions that you have. I see we already have one from Laura M. She asked, I'm getting an error with low text to HTML. How can I reduce the JavaScript? So yeah, that's one of the things that I would definitely work with a developer on, is going through and seeing what kind of code in there is not necessary, what is just taking up space, and trying to clean that up. On the development side, I'm not a super good expert. I'm more of a, hey, I can make the recommendation, but I would definitely find someone to partner with you and work on that. So we're getting some good websites in here. Let's do this. I got Tenacity US. So Tenacity Enterprises Network. I'm going to go ahead and share this on the screen, give you all some feedback. So one of the first things that I see here is when we go to the title tag. So we got Tenacity Enterprises Network, analytics-driven results. So one of the things we would probably want to look into here is getting a little bit more specific on our keywords. We have analytics-driven results. We have boost your results as our header tag here. Our current relevant business assessment made by experts. When you're not, I'm just have to read through this page a little bit here. Oh, here we go. Great. So this right here is now probably some of the stuff that you would want to better optimize for. So the way that you could use, say, like you want to use SEMrush as a way to figure out how much search volume exists, is if I typed in this keyword, analytics driven results, I don't think they'll have a result for me because I don't think it's something that gets searched very much. So let me pull this up here. Yeah, there's no volume associated with that keyword. So what I would do instead is I would start to look through your page and see what are the services that I offer here. And from these, I would start putting in some of these keyword themes and put them into a tool like SEMrush or the keyword planner tool that Google provides to start getting some clues. So you do lead generation, right? You might look up lead generation. That gets searched 14,000 times per month. Now, the challenge you're going to run into is that it's a very competitive keyword, right? So you're going to probably want to like crawl through a long list of alternative keywords that have low difficulty and try to optimize for those a little bit better. So that's what I would recommend doing in this situation is trying to figure out, based on the services that you offer, what people are actually searching for, and then trying to optimize your page around that. Now, if we go to the services page, again, another opportunity here, I would probably create unique service pages for each service that you're providing over here, so you can create a more relevant, optimal page for those. And then just real quick for fun, let's look at the blog. I always look to provide content or feedback on that. This is good. So you're providing informational value to people, tips for marketing to channel partners, right? This is good. This is good stuff. You also have some bilingual stuff there as well, which is good. So one of the things that I would look at is you're using these headers here in these sections. These are great. One thing I would think about, or I'd start to look up, is what are questions that people ask about channel partners or channel marketing, right? And then you could create an article where you're asking the questions and then answering the questions in your text. That way, when somebody Googles the question, Google's going to see, oh, this is a page that is asking and answering this question, and they'll be more likely to want to return your page as a result. So great stuff there. I think I like the fact that you're already putting a little bit of effort into your content. I keep up with that. Then from there, just thinking more about how people would search or what kinds of services they're searching for, and optimizing your page for it. Let's do the next one here. We got Cephas shared us sealcath.com. Okay, so this is a double balloon catheter, home of a double balloon colorectal catheter. Okay, so you got a very specific product. What I would do is I would get rid of the home of a double, I would just optimize it for double balloon colorectal catheters. That's probably what I would say. If that's what you do and that's the main focus of your business, I would just have that be it. And then Cephas catheter. Product in the news. So let's go to your product page here. So one of the things I'm seeing here is it is taking a minute to load. So you'll definitely want to check on your page speeds here. It could be just on my end, but if it is on your end, you'll want to double check on that. Good page here, good information, information on how to order things, applications. These are really good opportunities here. Yes, good. So you've provided virtual colonoscopy, and then you have a section talking about it underneath here. Good stuff there. I like that. So I actually like this page quite a bit. I think you could maybe do a little bit more with your title tag, because people don't know, like Cephas catheter, they might not necessarily know if that's a brand. I don't know if that's a branded phrase or the name of a type of catheter, but either way, if it's a branded name, I would go back to the generic phrasing that you would use for the product and use that in your title tag. That's more likely how people would search for it. But definitely off to a good start here. I don't see any easy way to get to a blog unless you're in the news is a blog. For health-related topics and products, Google has something called the Medic Update that came out a few years ago that made it a lot more difficult to rank for medical and health-related keywords. A big part of it is having informational, educational content that demonstrates your authority. So I would definitely be big on a blog strategy, providing information on all the health issues and things that people run into that end up having them require a catheter. I think that would be helpful as well. And so you'd want to kind of, again, use a keyword research tool to figure out what questions are people asking related to the health issues that require catheters, or the professions that do, and use that. So great question there, though, or a great site there. You're on the right track in a lot of areas. I think there's a few different things you can do for sure. Let's see here. Altered Combat. Let's do this. Jerry from Phoenix. There you go. Oh no, not a good start. Let me see if I have a typo here. Oh, a V got put in here. Nope, we're okay. There we go. Veteran-owned business, laser tag, water battle, Nerf. Oh, this is fun. Okay, cool. So is this a facility, or do you guys show up at people's house? It looks like you guys bring it to them. So one of the first things I would want to check here is, do you offer the service to a specific area? It looks like you do, because you have Phoenix most memorable mobile entertainment experience. So this is good. You have your location included here. You mentioning Phoenix. I would probably include that up here. Mobile laser tag Phoenix, water battle Nerf Wars Phoenix. But then that's where the search volume might become a little bit of a challenge. So I would maybe go generic, like, let's see here. Laser tag Phoenix. We'll get the variations. There you go. 720 people a month are searching for laser tag Phoenix. Best laser tag Phoenix. Is there any mobile? That'd be cool if they had that. Doesn't look like it, but there's tons of variations around laser tag in Phoenix. That might be a good keyword for you to optimize for, especially with this page here about tactical laser tag. You'll probably want to like really optimize this page for that keyword, laser tag Phoenix. You might have people who are looking for laser tag facilities, but a lot of people may not know about this cool alternative service that you offer. So you can get them introduced to you as another option. So I would definitely look into that. Let me see if there's any other tips that I would have for you off the top of my head. Water battle. We have to do some keyword research around some of those Nerf wars. Let's see if there's any, if I type in Nerf Phoenix, let's see what we get here. Hey, lots of searches for Nerf Phoenix. Nerf gun party Phoenix. There you go. That's actually stuff that people are searching for. Nerf laser tag Phoenix. There you go. So if you want to, those are great keywords for you to try to optimize for your business. I think that would be a great way to go. Let's see here. I'm going to take a break here. I got a lot of questions here. Let's take a break from the workshopping and answer some of these questions real quick, and we can come back in a minute. So what if I do all that you've said and done and my website is still not ranking? I have done all these steps and I am still on page 2. I would really look at backlinks as part of that, Kim. If you've got great on-page optimization, you're on par with all your competitors, you feel good about there. I think backlinks is probably the next stage for you, is trying to attract some good quality backlinks. And it's the hardest part of SEO. That's why it's kind of that final step that puts you above and beyond. So definitely happy to chat with you and help you develop a strategy for that if you want to chat. Google Clever Ads keeps refusing some of my products, but it says, let's see why, rejected, so I don't have to fix them. I'd have to look into that specific situation to know how to help you there. Let's see here. What's your success rate of getting a page to rank in the top 3? It's the most annoying phrase in SEO, but it's the most applicable one. It depends, right? Like there are some super competitive keywords that just getting on page 1 is a huge win. You're only just a very small sliver of your overall keywords that you rank for are going to be ranking in the top 3. Most keywords that you rank for are going to be below that. So it just kind of depends, but we do have clients that rank in the top 3 results for their primary keywords. We have some that getting them in the top 5 was a huge accomplishment. It just kind of depends. Do I do consulting? Yes, I do provide consulting. So you're welcome to reach out and we'd be happy to provide you, number one, with a free consult. I'm always big on providing lots of value up front to folks and giving you a lay of the land. And then from there, if there's something specific I can do for you, happy to connect with you. We had Sherma mention that they have a 95 on desktop, but a 23 on mobile. Yep, you'll just want to kind of start to look through what the recommendations that Google have on those page speed insights to see what they are, because they customize the recommendations based on the platform that they're looking at on. So if it's on mobile, they'll give you recommendations of things that they're seeing that are holding back your success. All right, we've got 3 minutes left here. I'm sure I'll have to call it here in a minute, but let's do one more. I got Band of Hands from Kristen, and we got fitness studio owners and professionals, Band of Hands, small businesses. So it looks like you are providing, and this takes me a minute to kind of figure out exactly what we're trying to do. Okay, so you provide like employment services and keeping people staffed. And as part of this, is this like a cool feature that you can provide people to get them to want, like it's like a perk or a benefit, right? So looking through this, what I first want to understand is this a nationwide service or is this a local? If it's local, okay, it looks like it might be California is cracking down. So I would want to first make sure you're targeting local keywords if that's the primary audience that you're trying to target. So make sure you're including that there. Using headers like break out of the mold, that can be helpful to kind of like grab eyeballs, but from an SEO perspective, it doesn't necessarily describe what the page is about or the main focus of it is. Oh wait, I understand that. So this is a service for studio. Okay, perfect. So right now you mentioned your audience up here well, but not necessarily the service that you're providing them with this page. So I'd include that there. I'd again focus in on the service that you're offering, what your page is about. So your page isn't about break out of the mold. Your page is about providing this employment service for fitness studio owners and professionals. So you'll want to include that. And then, like I said, if there is a location you're trying to target, make sure to optimize for that there. But yeah, I love doing this stuff all day. And I just realized I wasn't sharing my screen for that. So sorry, everybody, but I did pull up that Band of Hands website. Thank you all so much. It was awesome chatting with you. I would love to continue to work with you and provide you some feedback and help you in your SEO efforts. Again, thank you so much to SBU for helping letting us present here. And I'll go ahead and turn it back over to Keith.
Thank you so much for that informative presentation. We really enjoyed it. As a reminder, this webinar was recorded and will be available on demand within 24 hours on smallbusinessuniversity.online. Again, I want to extend a very special thank you to our sponsor, AT&T Business. Please remember to frequently check out our webinar schedule on smallbusinessuniversity.online for other great weekly business building webinars. Thank you all for joining us and have a great rest of your day.